I'm all that. That's why you all on this, okay? Thank you.
Who y'all think y'all frontin' on? Don't act like you forgot.
Hello babes, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome. So in today's video we are going to be talking about none other than the legendary icon herself, Miss Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson is one of the most influential artists in the entire world, from the older generation to the younger generation, and has touched millions with her music and means so much to Black women and the Black community as a whole, as well as many other nationalities and races. So let's get into it. Janet Demeter Jo Jackson, born on May 16, 1966, a fellow Taurus, is the 10th and youngest child of the Jackson family and one of the most influential, legendary icons to come out of the 80s. Janet first started out as an actress, making appearances on shows like Good Times, Different Strokes, and Fame. In 1982, Janet would go on to sign a recording contract with A&M Records, releasing 4 albums with the label. Her debut self-titled album in 1982, Dream Street in 1984, Control in 1986, and Rhythm Nation 1814 in 1989. When Janet released Control in 1986, she solidified herself in the industry as a pop icon. The album became Janet's commercial breakthrough album, collaborating with record producers Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, incorporating elements of R&B, funk, disco, rap, and industrial beats, which led to the crossover success in pop music. The songs on the album came as a result of a series of major life changes, from a recent annulment of her marriage to James DeBarge, as well as severing her business dealings with her father and manager Joe Jackson and the rest of the Jackson family, and hiring the A&M executive John McClain as her new management. The music videos created to promote the album singles showcased Janet's impeccable dancing ability and became a catalyst for MTV's evolving demographics.
I could learn to like this.
Enabling her to rise to prominence while breaking gender and racial barriers in the process. Control sold over 10 million copies worldwide and has been certified 5 times platinum by the RIAAA. Control is listed in the National Association of Recording Merchandisers and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as one of the 200 definitive albums of all time, influencing generation after generation. Janet's music wasn't just about dancing and love. She sang about injustice, and her music was revolutionary. And growing up, no Jackson slander was allowed in my parents' household because although I wasn't born yet, music was very important in my household, and knowing artists from different generations and different music and sounds, and it's something I've always loved from a very young age. And knowing real talent and how our music in the Black community is how we relate to each other and how therapeutic our music can be because we share so many similar experiences. Janet, like Michael, grew up in an era where Black artists were mistreated, and how much they changed the industry in order for Black people to be seen on TV and music and pushing for equality is why they are the legendary icons that they are. Sidebar, Janet has always had one of the most beautiful smiles I've seen. Aside from her beauty, she just has a smile that captivates people. But back to the video. When we talk about dance, Janet is dance. I have yet to see anyone be able to execute moves the way she does aside from her brother. And if you're a dancer and love dance, you know exactly what I'm talking about. From a young age, I tried emulating her dance steps, and some I was able to do, but others were just so complicated that only Janet herself could do them. Janet executes them with so much precision. It's like Janet's body turns into this instrument that flows, moves, and grooves like water, and it's not these hard, forceful moves where you can tell a person has been trained to dance rather than being born with the ability to dance. It's something that can never be duplicated. As much as people have tried to do her moves, I just don't think anyone can dance like her. Even when she's just sitting and moves her neck, snapping to the beat, it's just this beautiful movement. Just extraordinary art is all I can say. And to be able to stand next to the Michael Jackson and not miss a beat is just iconic. I can just talk about their dancing all day long. because that was how I expressed myself as a child. Although I was shy, it was like dance helped me express myself in ways one couldn't imagine, as well as helping me make connections with people who loved dance as much as I did. I don't want to get emotional, but it's something people who dance I know can identify with so much. Whatever you're feeling, anger, sadness, anxiety, and you get out on that dance floor, whew, okay, I am not supposed to be getting emotional, okay, and lay everything out there on the stage, dance floor, wherever you are. And Michael and Janet did just that. And Janet, I know she knows that she's impacted people, but I don't think she knows how much she's impacted people.
Oh. Hey Janet, there are fans out here.
We walked past that crowd of kids out there, and they all want a touch, they all want a piece, and you are obviously glad to give a little bit, but then all of a sudden you cross a line and it becomes a little dangerous.
It does. I've had my chunks of hair yanked out. They don't mean to harm you in any way. They're just so excited and happy to see you that sometimes it can be a little dangerous.
In 1989, Janet released her fourth studio album, Rhythm Nation. Although label executives wanted this album to be like her previous album, Control, Janet wanted to speak on social issues, collaborating once again with the iconic Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, drawing inspiration for the album from multiple tragedies like racism, poverty, and substance abuse. And there were a few songs about romance. Janet had become a role model to the youth due to her socially conscious lyrics. In 1991, Janet signed the first of two multi-million-dollar contracts with Virgin Records, establishing herself as one of the highest paid artists in the industry across both genders and all genres.
In 1996, Jackson renewed her contract with Virgin Records for a record-breaking $80 million. Giselle Fernandez spoke with Janet in 1998 during her European tour about it.
The highest paid performer of all time.
Oh, God.
How do you deal with that?
How do I deal with it?
Yeah.
I don't think about that. I don't think about that at all.
Not the salary part of it. I'm not asking about that. I'm asking more you command that for your talent and what you do on stage.
Well, like I said before, I really don't think about that being the highest paid. I mean, really, that once... Well, wait a minute. I'm sitting here talking about being the highest paid. I guess once the deal was done, it was just done, and I went about my life like I normally do.
Janet appeared in her first lead role on film, Poetic Justice, in 1993.
What's your name, sweetback?
Justice.
Justice? Mm-hmm. You mean like the law, huh? Mm-hmm. How you get a name like that?
You don't want to know that story. But anyway.
In 1993, Janet released Janet, which is highly underrated, and The Velvet Rope in 1997, which I will be doing a separate video on, and became a sex symbol. By the end of the 90s, Janet was named by Billboard magazine as one of the most successful artists of the decade in the US, after Mariah Carey. In 2001, Janet released her seventh studio album, All For You, coinciding with a celebration of her impact on the recording industry as the subject of the inaugural MTV Icon special. In 2004, an unfortunate incident had taken place that was to no fault of Janet. She was publicly humiliated during her Super Bowl performance when a wardrobe malfunction occurred by the hands of Justin, resulting in being blacklisted by the industry under the direction of Les Moonves, who, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, and honestly, at this point, I don't even care for him to pronounce his name correctly, but moving along, the then CEO of CBS. Janet was the only one who received backlash, with her videos being removed from all networks and experienced reduced radio airplay, televised promotion, and sales figures from that point on. And every time I think about what Janet experienced around this time, always pisses me off because she had no one advocating and speaking up for her. I definitely remember watching the Super Bowl with my family and my mother covering my eyes as soon as it happened. However, my mother and aunts were all upset with Justin and not Janet, because if you've watched Janet over the years, you know she didn't need a stunt like that, and she was a professional at what she did. She didn't do gimmicks because she didn't need to.
Well, 24 hours after that Super Bowl, Janet issued an apology. And I had read in another magazine that you regret making that apology. Is that true? Why?
It was an accident. And management that I had at the time, they thought it was important that I did. You know, with the project coming out. And I had said, actually, before I sat down to record the apology, that I had said to them,
what are you apologizing
for?
for?
Why am I apologizing for an accident?
Well, you did say in the apology you apologized for anybody who might have been offended by
right, and they wanted me to say that, so I did.
Janet's ability to switch to so many different genres and cover all genres of music is what makes her so unique. She has been able to stay relevant through every decade, and not many artists who debuted around her time can say that. Now, I got the 90s Janet and 2000s Janet and loved every single album released by her, and she still has it in her 50s. The body will always be banging, and she will always be beautiful to me. Janet is also a fashion icon. She has had so many people who were inspired by her in fashion and in the music industry, who have emulated and copied her style, and her style is still talked about till this day. Her fashion has always stood out as she was this classy, sexy woman who could wear any look. Pinstripe suits, baggy suits, and still exude this feminine energy. No one, and I mean no one, can rock a suit like Miss Jackson. Her Rhythm Nation era alone was one of the most iconic, influential eras in her career.
It didn't feel like, oh my God, like she's preaching us. It was dope. The statement that she was making was powerful, so her influence is something that you can't escape. Everybody was walking around dressed like that, imitating it. She's a blueprint.
She had everyone of all ages imitating her looks. Janet received her start on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in April of 1990, as it was much deserved for the impact she had all around the world.
Very proud to join the legendary Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I would like to thank Johnny Grant. My Rhythm Nation tour has been such a wonderful experience. So many sincere fans across the country have responded to our message of hope and hard work.
Janet has sold over 100 million records worldwide, making her one of the world's best-selling artists. She holds the record for the most consecutive top 10 entries on the US Billboard Hot 100 singles charts by a female artist with 18 top 10 entries. She is also the only artist in the history of the charts to have 7 commercial singles from one album, being Rhythm Nation 1814, peak within the top 5 positions. She is truly the blueprint. In 2008, Janet was listed number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 all-time top artists, and in 2010 was ranked the 5th among the top 50 R&B and hip-hop artists of the past 25 years. Janet has 5 Grammys, 11 American Music Awards, and 11 Billboard Music Awards, and 8 Guinness World Records entries. Janet is still doing her thing and on tour as of this year, which I really want to go to, and I need front row seats because I need the Janet experience live on stage and in person. Janet also released her documentary last year, which I am glad to see that celebrities are creating their own documentaries now, because for years there were people creating unauthorized documentaries on the lives of these celebrities, and it wasn't much facts but more so assumptions and added on drama and lies to bring money in the pockets of those that created them. I think more artists should do this so that when or if someone tries to create a documentary about them, it will be a waste of time and no one will give them their money. But I am definitely happy that Janet got a chance to tell her story, because it's her story to tell. Now, before I close out this video, I want to state that Janet is the queen of pop, period, especially in the Black community. I know people like to compare her to Madonna and their numbers But let's remember Madonna is a white woman who, of course, had a leg up and an advantage and privilege over Janet, who is a black woman. And even with more numbers, Janet is still influencing people in multiple generations and influenced some of today's biggest stars like Beyonce, Ciara, Rihanna, Britney Spears, and so many more. Her influence on the industry is simply immeasurable, and to still be relevant in today's time with the youth speaks on how powerful she was and still is. And that's not to take away from Madonna, because she, of course, is a legend. However, I will always ride for Miss Janet Jackson.
You're such a, I really admire you. And she was really sweet.
She said that I inspired her a great deal, and that's so flattering.
That wants to be a singer or performer wasn't influenced by her. She's incredible. I know even for my last video, I watched all of her videos because I always loved how she would take theater and mix it with the streets and some of that choreography and kind of mix it with her own little flavor, how she interacted with her bands. Everything was wonderful.
She did other different types of music. You know, it was okay. And she set the trend for people like me, artists like myself.
MTV News stated, Janet Jackson's superstar resolve is made of pure steel. If we could have made Janet Jackson the artist of the century, we would have. Janet is the blueprint and laid down the foundation for pop stars today, raising the bar for choreography, her elaborate stage settings, and ensuring she gave her fans the best shows that they would see. She took her artistry to the next level and broke racial barriers and the taboo around being sexy as a woman in the industry, especially as a black woman. She completely changed the way female artists hit the stage and brought the headset microphone to prominence. So when we talk about impact and people changing the music industry, Janet Jackson did just that, and is why she will always be the queen of pop and the queen of music, period. And that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I enjoyed making this video, because as you can tell throughout the video, I love me some Janet Jackson. I think she's one of the best artists that we've ever had. But let me know below, what are some of your favorite Janet albums, or if you can even choose a favorite Janet album, because I don't think I can. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure your notification bells are turned on so that you always know when I upload. And I will catch you guys in the next video.
Everything we lack, God has in abundance. Compassion, sensitivity, patience, and a boundless love.